according to the Shabd Brahman verse. Hare Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we'll be chanting together verse 48, so I'm just gonna, well, does anyone have a book so it's not gonna take so long to scroll through it? No, never mind, I'll just, yeah, because I'll have to fiddle and dunk, go down. Is there another one for you?
You can use it.
I have been talking to different devotees about giving class, and I really know, because I remember when we were young, and we were asked to give class. I mean, all of a sudden we were in the Maui Preaching Center, and we had to give class. So any and everyone should be able to give a class. So I think we need a class on giving classes so that these kids are going to start giving classes. Like the Bhagavad Gita class in the evening, I think, because I'll tell you why. By giving class, it forces you to research and study and dive deep into the Bhagavad. And you end up, you kind of surf through like where a particular theme is all the way through the scriptures, through Chaitanya Charitamrita and the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. And by learning to do that, accessing information all through the scriptures, you become a much better preacher. So I think what happened to me as a lady is we stopped giving class, so we stopped doing it. And so we stopped memorizing verses because you need a way to apply it. And we're all student teachers, and the best way to learn anything is to teach it. So even Saraswati, who was only 2 years old, Prabhupada said she's the best preacher, because she would go up to anyone and tug on their garments and say, "Do you know?" And she would have big wide eyes, "Do you know?" And they would say, What? And she would say, "Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead." So I would think that Maharaj and I need to teach a class on giving class, so they can start giving Bhagavad Gita classes, and all of a sudden you'll be like pundits. Prabhupada wanted us all to be Brahmin. So, right, Maharaj? We'll teach a class on giving classes.
I want to get them going.
Yes, yay. Hari Hari Bo. Okay, so.
I mean, can't count on us from day to day.
No, we might keel over. Prabhupada, he, in fact, we hope to. In the line of duty. We're really, that would be wonderful. That would be absolutely ecstatic.
Die with our boots on.
Yes, die in the trenches on the battlefield of just pushing back Kali Yuga and pushing back Maya. We want to do that. So you have to be ready to come up and so we need to train you in all of these things. It's really important.
So you could progress on class.
We'll start with Bhagavad Gita. They have all the energy and the night shift.
I'm just looking for a heart attack.
And I've been listening to Gopi Pranadhan's classes on these verses, and he went on and on about wherever we are, there's always provision in the Vedas for starting, where even if we're just the lowest of the low, there's always a place to start and become take steps towards becoming expert. And God knows I'm not expert, and I will continue to fumble and stumble, but we're still on the path back to Godhead. So I hope that my fumbling and stumbling is an inspiration for you to do it too, to just keep going forward, even if it is a fumble or a stumble. It's all good. Okay, so we'll start here on text 42. Savitram prajapatyacha brahman chata brihatata varta sanchaya salina solancha iti grihe. I'm just going to go through all the Sanskrit and then I'll read the translations all together. Vaikanasa valakiya dambara penabhavane yasekunta chaka puvam bhavodo hamsa nishkriyau anvikshit kshitrayi varta dandanitis tataivacha evam vyakritayaschasan pravavo hiyasa dahrataha tasyosh nid ashil lomabhyo gayatri cha tvacho vibo tristum mamsat snuto nustub jagat asna prajapate mayaj sankrit utpana brihati panato bhavat sparshad tasya bhava jiva svaro deha udahrita usmana indrayan ahur atasta balam atmanaha svara sapta viharena bhavanti sma prajapate. And we'll do the other one together, and I'm just going to catch you up on all those beautiful translations. Then the thread ceremony for the twice-born was inaugurated, as were the rules to be followed for at least 1 year after acceptance of the Vedas. Rules for observing complete abstinence from sex life, vocations in terms of Vedic injunctions, various professional duties in household life, and the method of maintaining a livelihood without anyone's cooperation by picking up rejected grains. Purport: during student life, the brahmacharis were given full instructions about the importance of the human form of life. Thus, a basic education was designated to encourage the student in becoming free from family encumbrances. Only students unable to accept such a vow in life were allowed to go home and marry a suitable wife. Otherwise, the student would remain a permanent brahmachari, observing complete abstinence from sex life for his whole life. It all depended on the quality of the student's training. We had the opportunity to meet an avowed brahmachari in the personality of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Goswami Maharaj. Such a great soul is called a Naishtika Brahmachari. The 4 divisions of retired life are the Valakiyas, Vaikanas, Valakiyas, Audambaras, and the Painops. The 4 divisions of the renounced order of life are the Kutichakas, Bhavodas, Hamsas, and Nishkriyas. All these were manifested from Brahma. The Varna Ashram Dharma or the institution of the 4 divisions and orders of social and spiritual life, is not a new invention of the modern age as proposed by the less intelligent. It is an institution established by Brahma from the beginning of the creation. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Chaturvarnyam maya stristam. The science of logical argument, the Vedic goals of life, and also the law and order, moral codes. The The science of logical argument, the Vedic goals of life, and also law and order, moral codes, and the celebrated hymns, Bhu, Bhuva, and Sva, all became manifested from the mouths of Brahma, and the Pranava, Omkara, was manifested from his heart. Translation. Thereafter, the art of literary expression, Usnik, was generated from the hairs on the body of the almighty Prajapati. The principal Vedic hymns, Gayatri, was generated from the skin, Tristup from the flesh, Anustup from the veins, and Jagati from the bones of the Lord of the living entities. Translation. The art of writing verse, Pankti, became manifested from the bone marrow, and that of Brihati, another type of verse, was generated from the life breath of the Lord of the living entities. 47 translation. Brahma's soul was manifested as the touch alphabets, his body as the vowels, his senses as the sibilant alphabets, his strength as the intermediate alphabets, and his sensual activities as the 7 notes of music. Purport. In Sanskrit, there are 13 vowels and 35 consonants. The vowels are A, oh boy.
I, U, R, A, I, O, A.
Okay, very good. And the consonants?
Ka, ka, ga, ka, na, etc.
Very good. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Appreciate your save. We work together here. Amongst the consonants, the first 25 letters are called sparshas, and there are also 4 antastas. Of the ushmas, there are 3 S's called talavya, murdana, and dantya. The musical notes are sa, ra, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, all Antony, and all these sounds are originally called Shabda Brahman, or spiritual sound. It is said, therefore, that Brahma was created in the Mahakalpa as the incarnation of spiritual sound. The Vedas are spiritual sound, and therefore there is no need for material interpretation for the sound vibration of the Vedic literature. The Vedas should be vibrated as they are, although they are symbolically represented with letters which are known to us materially. In the ultimate issue, there is nothing material because everything has its origin in the spiritual world. The material manifestation is therefore called illusion in the proper sense of the term. For those who are called realized souls, there is nothing but spirit. That was something that I've been really thinking about. Oh, where's Adidev when you need him?
Try to escape them.
Krishna Chaitanya. I'm not. We definitely are.
Escape at night.
Escape, okay. Typical.
Other-
Oh, Krishna Chaitanya. It's
Up in the
okay.
rug.
I'm just going to go to the, because we need to get to that 48, and hopefully we'll be able to put it up for you. I'm not accustomed to this particular device. Oh, Krishna Chaitanya. Does everybody have devices? Probably not. But I really love it when you all chant. It's super important to do this together. Almost there, guys. Okay, one more. Oh, well, One of the things that whole thing about for a self-realized soul, there's nothing but spirit. All that is Shakti Brahman, and what do we do with it? Prajalpa, all those sounds, everything is about Krishna all the time. Oh, so let's just talk about Krishna all the time instead of anything about Maya. That's the thing. Let's use all those beautiful, wonderful sounds in Krishna's service. Okay, we're here. So, Shabda, Brahma, Brahmamanas, Brahma Atmanas, Tasya, Shabda Brahman Atmanas Tasya, Vyakta Vyaktatmana Paraha, Brahma Vabhati Vitato, Nana Shakti Upabrimhita, Shabda Brahmanatatmanastasya, Vyakta Vyaktatmana Paraha, Brahma Vabhati Vitato, Nana Shakti Upabrimhitaha, Shabda Brahmatmanastasya, Vyakta Vyaktatmana Paraha, Brahma Vabhati Vitato, Nana Shakti Upabrimhita. Others?
Sorry, my device is not working. Shabda Brahmatmanastasya,
Shabda Brahmatmanastasya,
Yakta Yaktatmana Paraha,
Vyaktatmana Paraha,
Brahma Vabhati Vitato,
Brahma Vabhati Vitato,
Nana Shakti Upabrimhita,
Nana Shakti Upabrimhita.
Shabda Brahmatmanastasya,
Shabda Brahmatmanastasya,
Yakta Yaktatmana Paraha,
Yakta Vyakta Vyaktatmana Paraha.
Brahma Bhavati Vitato.
Brahma Bhavati Vitato.
Nano Shakti Uprabrimata.
Nana Shakti Ukabrimita.
Shabda Brahmatmanastasya.
Shabda Brahmatmanastasya.
Vyakta Vyaktatmana Paraha.
Vyakta Vyaktatmana Paraha.
Brahma Bhavati Vitato.
Brahma Bhavati Vitato.
Nana Shakti Upabrimitaha.
Nana Shakti Upabrimita. Anybody else? Daniel? Shabda Brahmatmanastasya.
Brahma Bhavati Vitato. Nana Shakti Upabrimitaha.
Okay. I'm trying to make sure everybody does it. Mark, can you do that? Can you see that from here? No, you can't, okay. All right, you're off the hook then. Shabda Brahma.
Shabda Brahma.
Transcendental sound.
Transcendental sound.
Atmanaha.
Atmanaha.
Of the Supreme Lord.
Of the Supreme Lord.
Tasya.
Tasya.
Is
It's
Vyakta.
Vyakta.
Manifested.
manifested.
Avatya.
Avatya.
Atmanaha.
Atmanaha.
Yikes, oh no, it just jumped.
Fastest slows.
Oh, okay, this is where the book comes in handy. Adi, where are you? We're missing you very much, Adi. Okay, there we go. Avyakta Atmanaha.
Avyakta Atmanaha.
Of the unmanifested. When I was a Brahmachari, I used to say that this avakta a lot, you know, the unmanifested. I was kind of fascinated with that, the abhaktya. So, para, transcendental. Brahma,
Brahma.
absolute.
The absolute.
Avavati,
Avavati.
completely manifested.
Completely manifested.
Vitata,
Vitata.
distributing.
Distributed.
Nana,
Nana.
multifarious.
Multifarious.
Shakti,
Shakti.
energies.
Energies.
Upabrimhitaha,
Upabrimhitaha.
invested with.
Invested with.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It's because of his purports that we can understand. It's just, his purports are his ecstasies. Translation: Brahma is the personal representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the source of the transcendental sound, and is therefore above the conception of manifested and unmanifested. Brahma is the complete form of the absolute truth and is invested with multifarious energies. Multifarious. It almost sounds like nefarious. all the farious. He's nefarious and multifarious. All the different types of energies. Purport: the post of Brahma is the highest responsible post within the universe, and it is offered to the most perfect personality of the universe. Sometimes the Supreme Personality of Godhead has to become Brahma when there is no suitable living being to occupy the post. In the material world, Brahma is the complete representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and transcendental sound. Pranava comes from him. He is therefore invested with multifarious energies from which all the demigods like Indra, Chandra, Varuna are manifested. His transcendental value is not to be minimized, even though he exhibited a tendency to enjoy his own daughter, There is a purpose for the exhibition of such a tendency by Brahma, and he is not to be condemned like an ordinary living being. And this comes to mind. Sometimes we do dumb things, and it goes viral, right? Something dumb, and all of a sudden everybody gets to know about it. Darn. But what does it do? It teaches. It's instructive. So sometimes people in really very amazing places take responsibility for teaching us by doing something dumb and then show us, okay, this is not what you do. Okay, but you can hear about it, but when you see it, it's more ingrained. When you hear about it, that's more subtle. That they say that if you can learn just by hearing, it's good. But then there's a next level, because in teaching, if anybody's ever learned how to teach, one of the things that they teach you is you need mass. You need to see it. And there's something they say, it's an absence of mass. So we get tired. We can't picture it in our minds. So they try to add mass to the situation so you see it. If you actually see it and Lord Brahma demonstrates, this is what you don't do, I'm going to show you. Here it is. You just don't do this. Then you get it a little bit easier because you got to see it. So Lord Brahma is in a situation where he's demonstrating what not to do. And he's also showing us that it isn't an easy situation for him either. He's got kids that are really great and fabulous and marvelous, and some that are not so helpful. So he's paving the way to make us understand that, no, to serve Krishna, we have to perform some austerity. We have to please the Lord. We have to be willing to go to jail like Devaki and Vasudeva. They spent a lot of time in jail. She gave birth in jail. She had all of her children killed in jail. Wouldn't you be willing to do that? When I heard that Srila Prabhupada was going to Patala to preach, I thought, because I've been praying all along, let me go to wherever Srila Prabhupada's manifest Leela is. And then I heard that he answered when someone asked, where are you going? He said, I think I'll go to Patala to preach. And then I thought, okay, Krishna, please, I'm retracting that prayer. I'm frightened. Because this is hard enough as it is. Being born in Hawaii, it's still so-called wonderful place on earth and all that. Still there's suffering. There's a lot of suffering. So I need to be prepared to do anything and everything, following in the footsteps of Srimati Radharani, even give my foot dust if it's going to mean Krishna doesn't have a headache and I go to hell for lifetimes. I have to be ready to do that, to be able to sacrifice. So Lord Brahma, he's showing us, he's teaching us, he's showing us what, okay, not what not to do. So there is this, it says there is a purpose for the exhibition of such a tendency by Brahma, and he is not to be condemned like an ordinary living being. He's so kind that he even fumbles and stumbles and shows us like point blank. So we don't have to do it ourselves. Because the worst and hardest way to learn is by falling down and doing it ourselves. Then it's like we're really in a mess. And this particular one we really don't want to do. Nope, we're not going to go there. We couldn't even imagine it. But unfortunately, it's something that has happened. I have all of Vishwanath Chakravarti's interpretations of the verses, but then I'm suffering Maharaj's dilemma, so little time. But it was so wonderful to be able to see and hear what Vishwanath Chakravarti said on these verses. And also listening to the other great souls that have given these verses, spoken and given classes on these verses. You can look them up right on Iskcon Desire Tree, and I was going to show you how to do it in the class. Because you just listen to all the other people who have given the classes. And they're saying, hey, start somewhere. It doesn't matter if you're a Sudra even. It doesn't matter. And even Sudras have to have They have one samskara, the sutras have one samskara, and it's marriage. And marriage means you're faithful to that one person, and you don't go outside and have any illicit sex elsewhere. That's the only samskara that, so they do have a standard. And a sincere sutra in devotional service is an amazing being, an amazing being. And the Shabda Brahman of this, of hearing daily Bhagavatam opens you up so that even a Sudra can become better than Brahman. What is better than Brahman? Vaishnava. Vaishnava. To be better than Brahman is to be Vaishnava, and that means to do everything in service of Krishna. We can be completely self-realized being like the four Kumaras. They were self-realized completely. They'd already understood, but they hadn't come to the position of devotional service. There's still more to come. Self-realization is part of it, but then now what do I do with this big old self-realization about myself? What do I do? I learn to love and devote myself to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Narada Muni wanted to dance in the Rasa Leela. Lord Shiva wanted to dance in the Rasa Leela. And they were they were in these positions of male bodies. Still, they wanted to be in the dance with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I don't know about you, but in this material world here on Earth planet, this big thing about singing and dancing and partying hard is supposedly, and I gotta say I kind of agree, it's the highest pleasure to just like totally go and just like lose yourself in the dance and the music. But when we do that in relation to Krishna, and it's about loving God and dancing with God, that's like the absolute highest pinnacle of the soul's expression, to actually join in the dance. And we can't let these maleness, all our positionitis, like I happen to be in a male body, get in the way of that. We can't let anything get in the way of the soul's dance with Krishna. Nothing. This Shabda Brahman, Prabhupada, I also went on to, and I got many, many beautiful, lovely verses to quote on Shabda Brahman. And bottom line, Prabhupada says, at this point, the most powerful of all Shabda Brahman is the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. And I know that I've told you this story before, but I have to tell it again, because when we went to Vrindavan, it was Govindadasi Atmaram and I, we went right in to see Srila Prabhupada, and sitting next to him was Bhagaji. And he told us that the Dham and the saints and the Jamuna and Govardhan and Vraj, all of everything within the holy place is made up of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. If you look in a magnifying, he said an atomic magnifying glass, and you look at the bones of the saints, you look at a piece of Vraj is a sand of Vraj. You look at a drop of Jamuna water. If you look at any of these things, you will see Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So, we ourselves need to bathe in this Shabda Brahman so that our bodies become purified, our heart, the mirror of our mind, becomes completely transparent so that we can see that we are spirit soul. Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit soul. Now that's self-realization. And then we have action. The soul is very active. It still wants to do something. And even the self-realized souls that go into the Brahma Jyoti, they experience loneliness, so they have to take birth again. They have to come down. All these great beings, you know, they have to, because of loneliness, because the soul wants to unite in yoga with Krishna. That's the natural tendency. The Sanatana Dharma is that we have action and feeling. What do we do with all that activity and all that feeling? We fill it with love of Krishna. So now I know who I am. I'm not this body. Now what do I do with it? Devotional service. Love in the mood of love. Now, we may, and I know part of human existence is self-consciousness, and I tell you what, I'm very Virgo, and so I have all this perfectionistic thing in me very intensely, and I used to feel like, well, I can't do it because I'll really mess it up. I will really, really, really mess it up, and I will continue to. But the more that I learned about what is authentic, what is valuable, and the more I exposed myself to this Krishna consciousness, then I could understand that the genuine always has a flaw in it, because we will never be as good as Krishna. We will never be anything except full of love for him, full of adoration for him. And if he wants, he can handle us roughly by his embrace, or that rough embrace. Hey, I would love to be roughly embraced by Krishna. Love to be roughly, like, please, roughly embrace me, Lord. Isn't that what we want? To dance with the Lord? So therefore, we have a process. Prabhupada's taught us a really simple process of every morning exposing ourselves to the Shuddha Brahman, the holy name of Krishna. And along with that, the Vedic scriptures, there are many quotes too that I found where Shuddha Brahman was kind of, it was almost like, he also said, well, don't get distracted by the flowery words of the Vedas, because there's going to be the art of warfare. You're going to learn about being a businessman and how to cheat other people. You know, that's the way that a Vaishya operates. You know, you've got the Sudras who they really aren't very ambitious and they want to serve. If they do that for Krishna, it's fabulous. And the Vaishyas who are out there like trying to get your dollar into my pocket. That's what Vaishyas do. It's someone's gotta lose. It's a shell game in this material world. There's limited everything. It's limited. So I, as a Vaishya, am trying to get your energy into my bank balance. Like, it's a cheating world. Cheaters and the cheated. It's part animal. And then the Kshatriyas they're ready to protect everybody to the point where they're ready. Hey, if someone needs protection and a person isn't willing to be peaceful and be protective, then a Kshatriya has to be willing to kill. But that means someone's got to die. It's pretty heavy. So the Brahmanas, Prabhupada has been working on training Brahmanas. And so this Varnashram Dharma, he said, I haven't given everything. But he saw that on Earth planet, what's going on right now, there's a need for Brahmanas. So he literally was working on creating a class of Brahmanas that are above this, and then beyond that, Vaishnava. Beyond this, because these are also just material if they're not being engaged in the service of the Lord. This whole Sudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Brahmana, it's material. Prabhupada wanted a class of intelligent persons, Vaishnavas. So, Maharaj, I didn't even touch my notes, but they were actually really fun to read, you know what I mean? To read all that Prabhupada said and I just went off on my own personal tangent. Sorry, I had a lot of, I could have pretended to be really scholarly. I had tons of quotes, tons of them. I could even tell you where they came from. But somehow or other, Krishna's not allowed me to pretend to be a scholar.
We'll move that down.
Yes, Maharaj.
Post them in the group.
What's that?
Post them in the group.
Okay, I do have them in a file. I'll post them to you all. Although you might be, well, they're Vishwanath Chakravarti's words and Prabhupada's words. All on, because this is what I did. I just researched Shabda Brahman. I wanted to know what Prabhupada said about Shabda Brahman. So I've got something like 4 pages of, 4 pages of quotes, and even in CC. So the very I'll say the very last one. If one is learned in the Vedic literature but not a devotee of Lord Vishnu, his work is a useless waste of labor, just like keeping a cow that does not give milk. So that's pretty much, says anyone who does not follow the surrendering process but is simply interested in an academic career cannot make any advancement. So, okay, and his profit is only his labor for nothing. If one is expert in the study of the Vedas but does not fully surrender to a spiritual master or Vishnu, all his cultivation of knowledge is but a waste of time and labor. Anyway, there we have it. Any since the time has run out, are there any comments or questions?
Pooja,
Yes.
you speak about Varna and Ashram, and we've seen within the society that was one of the things that Prabhupada said in one thing he was unable to develop was the Varna Ashram system. And so I'm wondering, is that why is it we haven't been able to develop that within our society? And if so, how do we encourage that to develop that within the society?
Well, Prabhupada said if 2% of the population became Vaishnava, then we could push back this Kali Yuga. 2%, only 2% of the population. So we're working on, once we get 2% of the population, then it's been kind of like an emergency measures where we're just creating Vaishnavas and Brahmins and just trying to push back Kali Yuga to the point where Prabhupada said, yes, my work is not complete. So there will be a time, place, and circumstance, and God knows I came because of the article, depending upon Krishna, the cow and the lamb. And I am a bit of a, I would love to be an agriculturalist in relation to Krishna, as they would say, a vertical operation. From the ground, you grow it, and then you offer it to Krishna. I'd love that. I would absolutely love us to do that. It's definitely something we need to do. We need to take it up. Srila Prabhupada literally spun the globe, put his finger down and said, go there and preach. And in that preaching spirit, wherever we are, we can go start a farm and preach from that place. Wherever we are, spread and tell anybody and everybody anything we might know about Krishna. Anything. Is that okay? Thank you, Hare Krishna. Anything? Anybody else? Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. I'll post these in the group. Maybe I'll just